All right. Today, I'm coming at you with some science. The reason I'm making this video is because a while back, I made this. It does not look appetizing to some, but this is a stroganoff that would normally be poured over egg noodles exclusively that I put on top of Kraft mac and cheese, and I put pickles into the Kraft mac and cheese. Now, I actually went as far to add sun-dried tomatoes to the stroganoff. Now, the reasoning was to create layers of complexity. Because, as childish as this might seem, my goal was to recreate the McDonald's Double Cheeseburger. Now, just to prove it to myself, I went and got a McDonald's Double Cheeseburger because my friends said that this, as an idea, was disgusting. Mind you, I topped it with Grey Poupon and Portland ketchup, which is higher quality than what they put into this. However, the question is, does this have a similar flavor profile to this? So far, it's actually a bit dry on the first bite. As you can see, they don't put anything on the bottom bun. So the fact that I chose to have cheesy noodles is a bit of a dare. But it is double cheeseburger. As you can see, there is pickles. I added dill pickles chopped up into the mac. Now, I wanted to use egg noodles because I think the mac noodles are actually a little too dense. And the bun from this comes across very light and fluffy. Also, there's not a lot of mustard, and it's deli style, not Grey Poupon. But the meat itself tastes like it has onion powder, white pepper, and potentially garlic powder or garlic salt. According to McDonald's, they use none of those things, but I don't believe them. Now here, I've used 100% Angus ground beef. I actually used a leaner mixture, a 90, instead of an 80-20. It tastes very similar, if not better. I think in the future, the only thing I could do to make this taste more like a cheeseburger would be to go strictly egg noodles, because I don't think the mac noodles were a good option. I could top it with cheese instead of creating cheesy noodles. I think it would make it healthier, although that wasn't the goal. The goal was not to be healthy. The goal was to replicate a McDonald's Double Cheeseburger. This does have shiitake mushrooms in it, because stroganoff usually has mushrooms, so I decided to go ahead and do that. So, a little bit more of a mushroom burger combined with a cheeseburger, which I don't see the sin in that. What are you doing? You're swapping out Swiss cheese for cheddar cheese? Okay. Back to the burger. Just for the record, I'm going to be having a salad for dinner. Because, yeah, we're eating about 1,300 calories right here. maybe 15. I think 13, close to 13. Now, I have friends that swear by this. They swear by this burger. I have offered to make them beautiful half pound, quarter pound, Western bacon, barnyard, mushroom Swiss, like you name it, on a brioche bun, on a potato bun, and they always refuse. I had somebody say like, no, I want the McDonald's Double Cheeseburger. There's something so gluttonous and so delicious about it. So I said, well, don't worry about it. I'll buy the thin, crappy, like, bread that's overly sugary, overly white bread. I'll use, the regular ketchup and deli mustard. I'll put Kraft singles on it, and I'll use really sad dill pickles. They still refused. They said, no, only McDonald's can do it that way. So, going back to my Mac Stroganoff, I don't think so. And this is just as good as this, if not better. This has all the same flavors of this in this, but instead of a shitty little bun, you get some egg noodles, because I ran out of egg noodles. That's how I actually ended up using Kraft Mac and Noodles, because I wanted people to take me seriously. I wanted them to take the recipe seriously, so I didn't want to make a box of mac and cheese. If I was going to do that, I would have taken baked mac and cheese and put it on top. However, then the calorie content would be through the roof, because we've already got a ton of calories in the stroganoff. And in fact, the mac, just being by mac and cheese instead of just being egg noodles, also has a ton of calories in it. But it has less than you would think, because I used the butter from the stroganoff sauce. I was intentional about not using a crazy amount of butter. However, if I was going to remake this again, I would use egg noodles, white egg noodles, instead of the mac. If I was going to keep the mac flavor to the noodles, like the cheese, I would probably add Velveeta. However, which I do think is good. I think it's good that it tastes. It's a double cheeseburger. You're getting hit with a lot of cheese. I mean, the percentage of this that is cheese versus meat versus bun is about 1/3. So you want this dish to be about 1/3 cheese. So topping it with cheese doesn't make sense to me. I do think, to a degree, maybe adding a Velveeta sauce to the noodles would be good. I'll have to say something that people don't think about that I think was really good was adding sun-dried tomatoes to the sauteed onions. Because when sauteing the onions in the beef, the juice from the beef, the ground beef, while cooking it, there's a layer of tomato, and there's evident tomato sauce in this. When you eat this, there's evident tomato sauce. But if I poured ketchup in this, it would be disgusting. Like, anyone ever had ketchup mac, it's not good. So adding the sun-dried tomatoes and then just topping it with ketchup, your tongue goes, wow, that Portland ketchup that's really fresh and really good, but why does it taste deeper? Why does it taste deeper into it? Well, it's because there's sun-dried tomatoes in there. That's why. But this is a million times better. This is maybe 1/3 as good as the what I have here. I mean, this is at least 1/3 better, if not twice as good. It's really good. I think people knee-jerk reaction just because it doesn't look as pretty, but like neither does this. This doesn't look pretty. Like, what makes this look any better than that? I mean, it's a bowl of mac and cheese with some meat, but it's also got sun-dried tomatoes. It's also got diced onions that are sauteed in beef juice with onion powder, garlic salt. It's got, shiitake mushrooms, for God's sakes. And all they did was just put a line of ketchup, which is natural organic ketchup, not like Heinz or something like that, with less sugar. And then I put Grey Poupon because fuck regular deli mustard. Like, Grey Poupon's better. I put a line of that, and half as much as the ketchup because, like, no one wants to get mustard up. I mean, maybe a few people out there love mustard. I think maybe some people don't like the idea of this because I put dill pickles into the mac noodles, right, before topping it with the burger stuff. But, like, then just don't put pickles in it. Like, if you don't like pickles on your cheeseburger, you're not going to like pickles in this. And overall, the calorie content came out to about 700 a dish, which isn't terrible. I mean, it's really not. This was a mad scientist experiment that I did on a wild wing, and I actually succeeded. And I did this gluttony of buying this double cheeseburger and eating it with this to prove to myself that I was right. Still not as good. You see a difference in my reaction? This one's not as good as the one I had. I had one that was like textbook perfect, and it made me want to make this. This one is dry, slightly cold on the outside. The other one was perfect. But you hit with diced onions, a layer of pickle into the meat, which tastes like onion powder, garlic powder, and Angus beef of some sort. Angus beef byproduct. And then cheese, more beef, cheese, and then finally you get to the top layer where there's mustard, ketchup, and pickle. But the pickles are standing out because of the juice. As soon as you mush them in, the vinegar hits you. I didn't add a ton of pickle juice because I really didn't want it to pervert this dish. But there is diced dill pickles in the mac mix. Of course, because I'm reheating it in the microwave, I've had to stir it up a little bit. But no, between those sun-dried tomatoes, those sauteed onions, shiitake mushrooms, this is unbelievably good. And it may not be the prettiest dish, but I absolutely succeeded in making it taste like the flavor profile of a McDonald's double cheeseburger by combining basically a burger mac recipe and a traditional stroganoff recipe, or a fairly traditional stroganoff recipe. I mean, I sauteed mushrooms, a little bit of flour in a roux. So I sauteed onions and mushrooms, flour in a roux. Yeah, it's excellent. Fuck you guys. America. It's delicious. And I did it.